Hello, everybody, and welcome to Speedzone Esports race number 2 of the playoffs. Tonight, we're back at Charlotte, hometown for a lot of these drivers, and it's going to be a fun one. We got 2 minutes left here in practice, but I wanted to get a word in here with Brandon, the sponsor of tonight's race. Let's drag him in here. Brandon, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
How's it going, my friend?
What's up?
Well, you are sponsoring tonight's race with the Apex Sim Sports Racing 125. So tell us, why did you pick Charlotte, and what is Apex Sim Sports Racing?
Well, Charlotte is where I grew up watching NASCAR. That is where I grew up around DEI. Dale Earnhardt Enterprises was right down the road from where I grew up. So literally, this is my hometown track. So I love this track. It's my favorite track. Here, the reason why I did Apex, Apex is a business venture with me and my good friend. We're trying to bring sim sports to people in other spaces. And basically, we're a catering business, and we also build sim rigs. So if you need a rig or need a PC built, I have a certified technician that can do all that stuff for you. We can build it and have a pretty much turnkey system if you'd like it. But more back to the catering, that's really what we're really about. We will bring a rig to any of your events that you're having. So if you're having a birthday party or a business event of any kind, we'll bring rigs to you and set them up so you'll have them for your event. So if you'd like to know more about that, go to apexsimsportsracing.com and come check us out.
Well, that is cool. That especially that with the iRacing and everything. So a pretty good place to sponsor it. I know Charlotte being a playoff race, it's a good one to be tuned into. But you're P11 here in practice. Talk a little bit about your confidence level heading into tonight's race.
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. The car feels good tonight. Feeling pretty comfortable. I like the looser feel of this track in this car, so it plays more into my style of racing that I really enjoy. So I really like to get a car loose. So the looser the better for me. So this is a loose car tonight. So it seems to be that depending on a couple other factors, but it seems to be that this is going to be a good race for me. Like you said, doing the practice is a good way to figure out where you kind of place, and I feel like feeling pretty good. So we'll see how I qualify, and hopefully I don't botch qualifying. Sometimes it happens. It happens to the best of us, but we'll give it our best shot tonight and see what we can do with what we have.
Well, it is going to be a fun one, and we'll be following you along the whole way, and we'll be talking to you here hopefully later tonight with a podium finish. But if not, we'll talk to you at the end of the race anyway. So good luck.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Brandon there, got a word in with him now, but there's a few drivers on the racetrack. So one I do want to give a shout out to Nathaniel. Clearly up to speed and running laps. This is not Nathaniel. This is his wife qualifying. So she's she is on the back bumper of this race car. So I believe that is her. I will be corrected. So Audrey, she's driving it. So Audrey is digging here. As we see here, Audrey is now stopping. So a possibility. Nathaniel's on the way home, so that's why she is qualifying. But we go to Glenn Murphy. He sets the first lap and goes top of the board. Glenn crosses the stripe to complete lap number 2. Lilith goes second. Parker Malone third. Kyle Ritchie fourth. Tiller fifth. And a big wipe of the cars, but a few cars passing the start finish line now. Here comes Kyle to complete his second lap. He goes fifth on the board. So a lot of drivers out there now setting their laps. And Matt's going to get sideways up into the outside wall. He's going to stop and reset. So this could be his, I believe, first, setting up for the second. And the man who just walked into the booth to make sure I do have somebody. He just had a quick lunch break. Alex, good to have you.
Yeah, ready for it tonight. Gonna be an interesting race. Charlotte is. I quite enjoy Charlotte, so quite excited to see what product we get tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. This is the one car here at Charlotte there is a few cars that can run multi-groove racing at Charlotte because it is unique and a little bit thinner, so it allows that top side to roll a little bit more, but we'll see if anybody is able to get out on it as you see Swartz right against that outside wall. Let's ride on board with him here as he goes to complete his second lap. There to the bottom, left side's pinned on it. He's going to reset, actually. Not going to complete his. Let's ride on board with Frady and talk us through a lap here. There, Alex.
Yeah, we see right now Matt Frady going into 3 and 4, gonna ride the middle, a little
He's
closer
coming
to
to
the
his
top.
lap.
Oh yeah. Oh, would you look at that? Well, he's gonna come across the start-finish line here. I believe his first lap. Gonna be an interesting track today, as we'll probably see a lot of people run the top or the bottom or the middle. It's one of those tracks that you can run multiple lines, and Matt Frady's gonna elect to take closer to the top. He's gonna get a little bit loose off the exit of 2, but manages to keep it straight. You want to keep as much momentum as you can. It's gonna be a good momentum track here tonight, as he's gonna roll the bottom going into 3 and 4. You don't want to overshoot it though, because just like you see there, you will roll up to the top, and that outside wall on the exit of 4 is a dangerous place to be at the exit. At the end of your lap, he's going to put a P4 on the board so far, and that might be it for him for tonight. So good qualifying effort from him.
Yeah, Matt crossed the line there, goes fourth. Elliott beats him into third. Nathaniel Landwehr, aka Audrey, for qualifying with 30 seconds. We're really hoping that Nathaniel's able to make it, but if not, Audrey might be starting this deal. But she's driving it straight. She's on the back straightaway. Let's check out the wheel.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, carrying as much speed as she can. A little bit all over the place, but better than what a lot of other people would do. So,
yeah, doing actually a pretty decent job. Completes the lap. It's going to go maybe for a second, or we're going to reset. Little sideways. All good. Oh, down to the apron. We're good. All right. That wasn't too bad. And that completes qualifying. Glenn Murphy puts her on top of the board. So we're going to go ahead and give you the rundown of the field. Alex, go ahead and take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's starting field for the Apex Racing 125 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be Glenn Murphy taking the pole, with Randy Arms, league owner, right behind him, with Greg Elliott down in P3. Matt Frady, we rode on board with him just now, taking a solid P4 finish in qualifying. Parker Malone and Kevin Ritchie rounding out the third row. Lilith Peters and Jonathan Mazzella down in row 4. Good qualifying effort from the both of them. Kyle Ritchie and Casey Brown in the number 88 rounding out the top 10 here. Moving on, Jonathan Schwartz, Michael Cochran down in P11 and P12. Lenny Quisberry and Clay Sarton down in P13 and P14. We'll see if they can make their way through the field. Cade Ferguson and Ryan Tiller down in P15 and P16. Wyatt Garrett and Jeremy Flanagan down in P17 and P18. Disqualifying effort from Wyatt Garrett there. Fan favorite Mikey Adams down in 19, with Christian Schrader down in 20th to round out the top 20. Brandon Summersheem in 21st, and Randy Sample down in 22nd. And Nathaniel Landwehr, technically, his partner
might be Aubrey.
taking the 23rd position, with Michael Tant taking 24th, the first of the non-qualifiers, with Austin Wingard and Doug Ezel taking the 25th and 26th spots to round out the field. Both drivers not qualifying for tonight's race.
Well, it is going to be one that we are going to have a lot of fun announcing and watching. I'm going to put up on the board now after Kansas, the first race of the playoffs, 2 rounds. This is the second race of the first round. You can see the points on the screen. Both Ritchie brothers are on the bubble. Matt +8, and then the guys just below it. Lil Peters -2. Jonathan Swartz 4th. Michael Cochran right there in -6. Casey Brown -8. Quisenberry -11. And Brandon in that 44 is going to need a lot of, maybe not a lot. They still got tonight and Las Vegas next week to gain 13 points, but pretty close field overall to start the playoffs with this first race. So we're going to see a lot of tenacity out of the drivers that need to come through the field. Obviously, Nathaniel starting a little bit further back than where he normally does. We'll see how that plays out as we're getting ready to go green. So Glenn Murphy and Randy Arms at the front of the field. And Greg Elliott there on the inside of Matt Frady. So here we go. Playoff race number 2 is green at Charlotte. Glenn and Randy both get a pretty even restart there. Matt gave him possibly a little bit of a push. Now ducks to the bottom lane. We'll see if that outside starts to come into play. Randy a little bit loose though, but it looks like Glenn Murphy's going to take the lead down the back straightaway into 3.
Yeah, pretty solid start from a lot of these guys here to keep it pretty clean so far. Everybody, ooh, as I say that, Randy Arm's going to go spinning off the exit of 4.
Parker Malone's in it. Oh! Wingard barely avoids it. And we have early problems in contact between 2 of your playoff drivers. I gave you an extended look at the playoff order, but you see Frady and Arms, 3rd and 4th, were involved in it. Let's go back and take a look at it here. So as they go into the corner here, just looks like Matt gets a little loose, washes up the racetrack, and into the right front of Randy, which gets him sideways. And around Randy starts to go with not much that Kevin could do. Parker, nowhere for him to go. And then we saw a few drivers trying to avoid it. And then Austin Wingard is going to drift through it. Barely. I thought, what happened to him? Oh, try to check up and then got in the left rear. No, just got a little bit loose trying to avoid everybody, but great save from Austin. Barely missed everything. I think he actually was okay. Yeah, he didn't hit nothing. Good save there by Austin.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mentioned in qualifying before, the exit of 4 was going to be a little bit tricky for some of these guys. If you get a little bit too low and you snag the apron, it's pretty much guaranteed you're gonna wash up the track there. And even we'll probably see it later on in runs that as the tires start to wear, the car's going to naturally want to slide up off the exit of the corner, but not the way you want it to. So something to definitely look out for later in runs, and we'll see if these drivers can handle it and try to not create any contact like we saw right there with the 40 and the 8.
Yeah, you see Randy on pit road there. Caution is out, so he's going to get as much damage as he can fix. They're off of 4, so I don't think Randy's going to have a ton of damage, but him and Parker Malone are going to be hurting with the damage that they have in it now. So we'll see if looks like Parker may be done, unfortunately, with his first race with us. But yeah, Randy, one of the big guys in the points. I'll pull it back up on the screen. So he was only +10. So especially with guys that are out like Swartz, Peters, Cochran, Brown, who are all within 10 points of him, this could be a big flip in the points, Alex.
Yeah, I was going to say I know we do have one more race left. We still have Vegas before we get to the next round. But with it being such a short format for the playoffs, there's only 3 races until you get to the final round. Every single point will matter. So, yeah, I know you mentioned earlier that we're probably going to see a lot of aggressive driving tonight to battle for every point. So we'll see how these guys take it and whether they, like I said, they can keep it kind of clean and get some good racing here tonight. Obviously, as you can see, drivers taking the choose, a fun little rule that we have here in the Speedzone Esports League.
Yeah, choose cone this week is through the final chicane that the IRL road course is at. So we saw Glenn go to the inside, Matt picks the outside. So should be coming out of the pits now. Randy Arms on the racetrack. He's going to have a lot of work to do driving back to this field. Oh, it actually looks like his toe's knocked off. Possibly didn't get all the damage fixed, so unfortunate there for Randy. If he's able to hold on and just come away with a solid finish to finish the race, will be big, but should be coming back to the green this time. New front row, Matt Frady and Glenn Murphy going to lead them back. We saw contact on the first lap. We're going to try it again, and we're back green at Charlotte. Glenn with a big restart there, able to get clear on Matt. Now it's going to be the battle for third between Elliott and Frady. And then just behind them, it's the Ritchie brothers side by side there for fourth.
Yeah, those two battling for every point on the bubble right now. So we'll see which Ritchie brother can be the better Ritchie brother tonight as we start taking the lap. A little bit of contact back there off the exit of 4. I'm going to keep mentioning it throughout the race that outside wall of 4 is going to be tricky for somebody. Oh, is more contact going into turn 1.
Quisenberry, hard in the outside wall. Michael in the 42, Adams, Quisenberry, 2 playoff drivers. So problems that Charlotte is beginning to, you always have that one wild card race in the playoffs in each round. And it seemed like Charlotte is one that is taking out a lot of cars tonight.
Yeah, a lot of playoff turmoil already. As we go back here and look at the replay, I think it was just start this all off. Somebody making contact with the outside wall right here. Mikey Adams just washing up into the outside wall, and at that point, probably some damage with how hard that hit was, and just started to drop back throughout the field. And unfortunately, I believe that's the 75.
Yes. Quisenberry.
Quisenberry, another playoff contender, needing all the points he can get, being 11 below the cut line right now. Not what he needs, honestly. It looks, and there you go, 42 of Michael Cochran as well. Very heavy damage. So 2 playoff guys, like Kate mentioned before, that, yeah, not the way you want to start this race. And, I mean, like you said, Kate, a pretty big wild card so far to start off this race here.
Yeah, Michael nowhere to go. Christian got in the back of him, and yeah, that thing is hurting. So unfortunate end to Michael's night. We'll see if he's able to get back out there, but I don't think so, as early problems here. And fuel strategy is a thing as well tonight. 40 laps on fuel that these drivers can go here, give or take. So with 40 laps, and the stage is about 40 to 50, we've seen a lot of the drivers pit already for fuel, but what is your thoughts here and strategy-wise with these early yellows?
I mean, I've seen it from some of the drivers already. It looks like it's going to be a fuel save to try to make it to the stage. Like you mentioned, lap 45 to 50 is the stage window. So, I mean, I can hear it from Glenn Murphy. I'm riding on board with him right now on my end, and he's clutching in and saving whatever he can. So, I think it's going to be a lot of fuel saving just to get to the stage at least. I think that's the big thing, especially with people wanting the points and whatnot. So, fuel save is going to be the name of the game, I think, for this first stage, and then tires as well too are obviously, like I said, those are going to be a pretty big factor if people decide to maybe stay on the same set till the end of the stage, or maybe they'll split the stage with tires. But yeah, very interesting strategy I think we're going to see from some of these drivers here.
Yeah, we saw Matt Frady take the lead there on the restart, so new control to the lead is going to be Matt Frady. Glenn we could have saw him just being smart and saving a little bit too, not going to be too aggressive. And I don't think Matt's pushing to his full potential, but I also do think Matt wants to lead more than anybody else, as he is one of the drivers that is not lucky, we'll say, in this field. 1 win on the season for Matt. Led his second race for this season, looking for his first win. And a guy running solidly in P3, Greg Elliott as well. Hasn't run the full season, but has made a good few as they're coming to the choose. But Greg doing a solid job. He picks the inside, so he'll be on the inside of Matt Frady coming back for this restart.
Yeah, like I said, so far, I know we said it before that some of these guys are just going to want to try to make it to the stage, but with how, I don't know, how, it almost seems like people are being a little bit impatient to start the race with how much they're trying to push, especially, like I said, the exit of 4, man, it's just going to be the trouble corner, I think, tonight, and maybe we'll see it again on this restart, but I will say this, I'm sure a lot of these drivers are going to enjoy the first starting cautions to save fuel, so we'll see how this one goes coming to green.
Yeah, see Glenn Murphy technically 4th on where he is lining up, but is 2nd technically on when he chose. So we'll see how that restart worked out for him. Obviously behind the leader in Matt Frady, but we'll see if that outside gets a better jump this time compared to what it has. Ritchie brothers lined up underneath each other. Mazzella now in technically 6th, but it'll all shake up here as we're coming back to the restart. Matt Frady, Greg Elliott to lead them back to the green. 117 laps to go. So Matt gets a great restart once again, able to get clear on Glenn. Then Greg goes to 2nd. Kyle Ritchie, they're on the bottom, trying to work underneath the 48. Then you have a side-by-side battle here between Mazzella and Ritchie. Kevin Ritchie, that is. And a playoff driver as well, coming off good momentum from another race last night. Casey Brown. You see all these drivers migrating to the bottom lane, but a lot of them are able to keep it pinned on that top side. Like Lilith Peters here. You see Quisenberry was caught up in that wreck early. And Nathaniel with a lot going on here. Drives by Doug Ezel there. And you can see out the windshield. Would be out of the playoffs at this point if he were able to finish, if he does finish 17th, but he's got a lot of time to make up, so we'll be watching him as he gets back through the field. We got multiple side-by-side battles here throughout it. Riding on board here with Swartz, who's another playoff driver behind Brandon, and he's going to go to the bottom lane. Barely able to get clear. See Lilith Peters just behind Austin Wingard, who had an amazing save early underneath Clay Sarton. And now we're starting to see drivers start to make their move. Look at Wyatt Garrett there inside the top 10. Alex, your roommate is ripping the top right here.
I was just going to say, I'm a little surprised because, I mean, I know he runs this track a lot and whatnot, and I'm kind of surprised he's ripping like that, especially the way he was just ripping in 3 and 4. So, yeah, quite impressed tonight to see him running so high up and fighting with some of the playoff guys. So, yeah.
Yeah, see, everybody on that bottom lane, a little bit tight in the center, slowly starts to wash up. But that turn 4 wall does come up quick, and we saw it caught out Adams earlier. And now we got a battle for the lead. There goes Glenn Murphy to the inside. Matt's going to have the momentum around the top. We'll see, is he able to take it? He does. little flyby for everybody there. So Glenn Murphy there, all over the back bumper of Matt. We're seeing early, these tires don't have too many laps on them, but Alex, to set up a pass here at Charlotte, what is your idea and what lanes do you see moving right now?
Well, I was funny enough. I was just gonna start talking about that. That I've already been starting to notice that 1 and 2 is kind of the wild card corner. You can take the top or the bottom, whichever you'd like. And 3 and 4, you really don't want to run the top as much. I think a lot of these drivers would prefer the bottom here, especially as the tires start to wear. But if I'm a driver trying to set up a pass, I'm gonna look to try to get a really good run on the outside of 1 and 2 here. We'll see if Glenn Murphy decides to. No, he's just gonna follow Matt Freddy to the corner. Ideally, I would say these drivers should try to move to the top and carry the momentum and get a good run on the backstretch, and if possible, just dive it into the inside of 3 and 4, take the bottom line away, and cause the other driver to have to force themselves to take the middle, which is not the optimal line for 3 and 4. So right now, it doesn't look like Glenn Murphy wants to put too much of a challenge on there. It just almost looks like he's almost riding behind there for now, but we'll see if he decides to eye a moon here as we see battles throughout the rest of the field between the 6 to 45, the 1 and the 58.
Riding on board here with Clay Sarton is Schwartz is going to slowly try to clear. Lilith Peters stuck on the bottom lane. Had to do kind of a evasive maneuver and go through the grass a little bit. Well, these playoff drivers, as quick as they are, like Schwartz and Lilith Peters, not able to make a lot of passes, and it seemed to be pretty hard to pass, but the lanes are pretty equal as they're back side by side for the lead up front.
Yeah, just as I mentioned it before, wasn't sure if Glenn Murphy was going to try to be super aggressive, kind of taking the opposite strategy of what I mentioned before, but you see it works out better for Frady to get the momentum off of 1 and 2. Glenn Murphy opting to take the bottom line in 1 and 2, but we'll see how well it works out for him here as he takes the bottom line in 3 and 4. Can he get a better run than Matt Frady here going on to the front stretch? That's going to be dead even when they get to the line. Can Glenn Murphy set up the pass going into 1 and 2?
Yeah, Matt's going to have the momentum. Can Glenn throw a slide job? Not going to be able to fully clear. With these two running side by side, that allows Kyle Ritchie, Elliott, and Kevin Ritchie to start reeling them in. And this could also burn up their tires a little bit. We're seeing now. So, as you mentioned before, it looks like top 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4. But racing-wise, even though Matt may have a little bit more worn tires or something, if Matt has a little bit slower car, or it just might be second, might be a little bit quicker, racing-wise, it seems like that top side is better, and you're able to hold off the car passing you, or however you want to say it, on the bottom lane. If you just run the outside, we saw a squeeze there from, I saw at the corner of my eye. Not that Swartz almost had Austin Wingard in the wall, so Swartz already up to 9th. But one guy who is needing these points here and can't have a bad night is Nathaniel Anware.
Yeah, slowly making his way up to the field. We saw he started down in 23rd for his partner qualifying for him, but able to use that speed he's had all year long to slowly and methodically make his way through the field. We see him here eyeing the 67 of Clay Sarton. And you can see he's got one pack in front of him right now, and he's got a little bit of a gap to that lead pack, but slowly making his way up there as he's got Wyatt Garrett up in the 6 right in front of him as well. He's going to try to make a pass on Clay Sarton on the bottom of 3 and 4. Will he go 3 wide going into 1 and 2?
Might give Wyatt a little bump, say, hey, hurry up here. We need to get going. He's really trying to make the move. You see Clay gets that outside line to work, and he's able to clear, so that's going to mess that up. But you see Kyle Ritchie, he goes to 2nd over Matt Frady. Now Matt's going to start dropping back, and we're still 20 to go till that stage. So a few of these guys that have backed off and saved a little bit. They're kind of running in a train right now, but I think that's a lot of the strategy. We know the bottom saves tires as you're able to slow it down, which is the opposite of real life. But in iRacing, you slow the car down more, which puts less load into the tire, which wears the tire less. So run the bottom, just being slower overall helps. And we saw Matt Frady run that outside line for the longest. They're teammates as well, so we'll see if they're working together later on in the race or end up playing that same strategy. Right now, Kevin Ritchie all over the back bumper of Matt.
Yeah, pretty close battles up here towards the front. We see Glenn Murphy starting to pull a little bit of a gap to the 76 of Kyle Ritchie, but mentioned it pre-race that, like I said, the top was going to probably burn more tire than the bottom. When you saw Matt Frady throughout this race enjoying the top a little bit more than some of the other drivers, and it's starting to not work in well as or work in his favor as he is going to drop back into the jaws of Kevin Ritchie. And we'll see if he can keep his momentum up and complete the pass going into 1 and 2. Matt Frady going to be forced to take the top again if Kevin Ritchie continues to take the bottom. We see it here. Matt Frady going to have to use that wheel a little bit more and burn up his tires. Kevin Ritchie's going to be side by side with him off the exit of 2 with Greg Elliott right behind them. Maybe looking to take advantage if something goes wrong between these two.
Yeah, Kevin working that bottom lane. Matt trying to hold him off on the top side. Remember, it's a random stage break from 40 to 50. So at a random point between lap 40 and lap 50, the caution will be thrown for the stage, which won't hurt Matt too much. Obviously, Kevin right on the bubble, but as close as these drivers on points, I don't think that you can really give up any points in tonight's race. But one guy that I do want to talk about, and the sponsor of tonight's race, a little bit further back, he's 3 seconds back from the next car, which is Doug Azell. Could this be a strategy play on saving fuel, or do you think he just has damage, or what do you think here, seeing from Brandon?
I'm not too sure. I think I might have seen him. Can't remember exactly if he was involved in any of the contact in those first couple of cautions. So could just be riding around for the stage, hoping to take some more damage, or is just managing his pace and trying to save what he can. And maybe we'll see him make some moves towards the end of the race here once the race starts to settle out and after we get through this first stage.
Yeah, I see Quisenberry, another playoff driver here, running 16th after the contact in the door with Mikey Adams. But Landon doesn't look like he actually has too much damage, but he's running 16th right now. Just doesn't seem to have the speed in that thing right now to drive by these guys. And on the struggle bus, ooh, a little bit of contact there. Mikey Adams, Wyatt Garrett, and Doug Azell there all racing together. That is Mikey, who is 22nd, 13 laps down, but just going to try to log his laps. As we go up, we have a mess up here. Matt has, well, actually Kyle has built a gap over Matt Frady, but it has held up Kevin Ritchie, Casey Brown, ooh, that's Greg Elliott, Mazzella as well. So a lot of these drivers are getting held up by Matt, but Matt could also be saving a little bit of fuel. Let's ride on board with him and see if when he goes into 1 here. Trying to make it to that, but the cautions, it should have helped. He sounds to be picking up that gas pretty early.
Yeah, I was going to say, it honestly kind of sounds like he's struggling a little bit. He's putting a lot of wheel into that first corner there, so more than likely he has burned up his tires pretty quickly and is kind of just trying to hold off whoever he can before before anybody else can try to pass him. We see a bit of a train behind him starting to form, and the first and second place, they're pretty much gone. So Frady trying to defend for his life and not give up any points as we hit lap 32. Very close to that stage window, so we'll see if a lot of these guys can keep up any of the pace they have and get as many points as they can coming to the stage.
Yeah, Swartz there, working the outside line, trying to go where they aren't in front of him and trying to keep the clean air on his nose, but Mazzella doing the same thing, and it looks like he's going to drive to the outside of Kevin Ritchie. Going to get to the right rear, side draft it just a little bit now, or does Matt run? Side by side behind him. A lot of options. He's going to go to the bottom lane. Kevin's going to have the dirty air. Mazzella on the preferred lane will have a good run. Does Mazzella go to the inside? He's going to be barely clear. Now he's going to go to the outside, try to roll to the top of Matt Frady. Can he get to the right rear? Looks like, yeah, Matt's really tight on that bottom.
Yeah, definitely starting to struggle. Most likely just used up his stuff pretty early on in his battles with Glenn Murphy at the beginning of the race, and definitely something he'll take note of when we come to the stage and will try his best to see if he can save a little bit more tire on the next run. Because if I'm him, I don't want to end up in this situation at any other point in the race. Because you can see here now he's just starting to get eaten up first by Jonathan Mazzella and now Greg Elliott, and he's got a lot of other drivers trying to take his spot so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kevin was kind of the biggest loser. Obviously Matt losing spots, but Kevin was the biggest loser. Got stuck behind him, and I was gonna say if he didn't have a hole, he was gonna lose more than just 2 spots. But he looked like he was able to get a hole there and is able to get to the outside. But Swartz has done a great job starting at the back of the field, has saved the tires while driving through it. And same thing with Nathaniel, as he's inside the top 10 now for the stage points. So he's looking for some valuable points here at the end of the stage to try to keep his lead that he has in the playoffs.
Yeah, very impressive drive by these two. As we see Jonathan Schwartz, it's almost taking the position from Matt Frady. I was going to mention before that it was a pretty smart move by Frady to at least keep the bottom, because it's going to be probably where he is faster, and he's able to force a lot of his competitors up top and have them burn their stuff up. So smart move there by him if he can keep the bottom, but unfortunately just not working out too well for him right now.
See Greg Elliott there on the inside line, trying to make it work. Mazzella back to the outside and is going to have a run. So Mazzella in third. Mazzella usually qualifies in that 5th to 8th range and then slowly works his way through the field. He always races better than he qualifies. And a lot of the time, you want to be good at both, but if you had to pick one, obviously you'd rather be better at in the race than you are in qualifying, and Mazzella is showing that now.
Yeah, pretty common trend we've seen from him throughout the season. And yeah, like you mentioned, usually he's the guy to qualify towards the top 10, and usually don't see him for the first opening laps. Then once everything starts to settle in, he'll start to make his way towards the front and show that pace he's got. We've seen him run towards the front on many different occasions, trying to do the same tonight.
Yeah, we just saw Tiller come out of the pit, so pit stops are getting underway. We'll see if anybody does come down next. So Tiller, the first one to pit, could just be a strategy call by him. If it does run long, that'll be great for him, because none of these drivers can make it past 45 on fuel unless they've gotten really lucky and saved a lot. So we'll see if that works out for Tiller, as that would be a big point swing for him. These stages, anything could happen. Greg Elliott going to get a little bit tight as Kevin's got it right on his door. You got the lap car, a straighter right in front of him. Where do they go? They're going to have to split them. They might have to split them. Holy crap, they might have to split them. They don't. Straighter's going to be on the bottom after that early wreck he was involved in. Kevin going to use him as a pick and go to the outside.
Yeah, Kevin Ritchie finally getting to make the moves after getting past Matt Frady earlier up into the 4th position. Going to try to use any leftover speed he's got to catch the 41 of Jonathan Mazzella and get valuable stage points to remain close to his brother in the points and get whatever he can to stay above the cut line.
Yeah, speaking of his brother, 7/10 back. It's been within 5 or 6 tenths, now to 7.5, but Glenn just slowly pulling away, isn't pushing it too much, but that car's got a lot of speed in it tonight. The highest iRating in the field, so has a lot of experience, but hasn't raced a lot in the last, well, from what I heard, last few months at least. So he's doing the most that he can here and showing a lot of the speed. Obviously the high iRating and how you race on iRacing isn't just gonna go away, but he's definitely got a lot of speed in it still. As Casey Brown goes to the inside of Matt. So Matt has fallen from the lead to 8th here in this first stage. So tires seeming to matter a lot more than they do in the next-gen car.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super surprising to see these cars. You got to put a little bit more wheel to it. It's one of those harder handling cars on iRacing to drive. So not surprising to see these drivers struggle with the tires. It's a pretty common thing here in Charlotte in general. Between any 3 of the cars, depending on how you drive it. So, yeah, not super surprising to see. And another thing to mention is we come with 43 laps right now. Stage, yeah, 45 to 50. So we're coming within that stage window. We'll see if any of these drivers were able to save enough fuel to make it. I mean, if I'm going to expect any two guys to have enough fuel for the stage right now, it's going to be Glenn Murphy and Kyle Ritchie. We saw Kyle Ritchie get a little bit involved earlier, but able to take the second spot. Hasn't looked back and created a gap. More than likely able to save some fuel. But Glenn Murphy, for sure, has absolutely been. Oh, as never mind. I hear on the driver radio, Glenn Murphy gonna pit. So sounds like even the guy who's been fuel saving the most will not be able to make it to the stage. So we will definitely see a lot of drivers here make the call to pit road as Glenn Murphy's gonna slow down to, I believe the pit speed limit is 50. I think it's 50 miles an hour here, 45 even. More than likely gonna be tires. We talked about how important they've been tonight. So gonna probably be a 4-tire stop and fill that tank up full of Sunoco race fuel. As we'll see when other drivers come around, will they pit or are they gonna risk staying out for the stage points? Kyle Ritchie now into the lead. Will he make the call onto pit road as he comes by? No, gonna stay out while we are in the stage window. 41 of Jonathan Mazzella and Casey Brown and Matt Frady taking their pit calls
Caution.
now. As we got
There's
the
the
caution
stage.
is out, that's going to be the stage, and that's going to be absolutely amazing for Kyle Ritchie.
So we're going to have to wait probably a little bit. Works out great for Kyle Ritchie. It doesn't matter much for Murphy because he's not in the points, but it works great for him because he will be possibly the wave round or the lucky dog and won't have to pit, so he might get the lead because Kyle's going to come down pit road. It worked out depending on how they score it, unless it's at the line or if it's when the caution flew. That worked out great for Matt Frady, who's on pit road with him. Matt Frady, Casey Brown, and Mazzella, and also Brandon. He was on pit road at that time too, so it should help them out too because they're not obviously going to pit again, but in the middle of pit cycles, this is going to be interesting how race control scores the points after tonight.
Yeah, kind of surprising because usually it's been a pretty common trend this season that everybody would have their stops pretty much done before the stage come out. It's been very rare to see anybody be able to make it to at least to the stage on fuel and or tires, but those two opening cautions able to help these drivers save just a little bit of extra fuel to make it. So we'll see if anybody comes in to top off. Even the guys that just pit, I wouldn't be surprised to see them top off. Obviously, no tires will be taken, but everybody in the front of the field is going to come down pit road to take tires. Oh, got a little bit of contact in the back while everybody's coming to pit road. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Right behind Glenn Murphy there.
Oh, Doug.
Oh.
Looks like a transmission broke or something from the way that thing hooked to the right. Possibly just try to go from third to second and it went to first or something. I do know that driver, and he does not have, he's had that shifter for a long time, so that thing could be jacking up, which he has had problems with it before. So possible problems there for the 67. So Murphy stays. Kyle on pit road. We'll see who wins the race off of pit road. Let's get a word in with him, and let's see, talk to our stage winner, Kyle Ritchie. Kyle, do you got a copy?
Oh, geez, yes.
Well, you come away with the stage win. What's the disappointment for?
'Cause this sucks.
You won the
Setup's
stage.
Yeah, but the setup is horrible. Garbage. Doesn't turn.
Yeah, that is something that we've noticed. Matt Frady was really tight there, burned off the tires, but a good point stage for you. That'll help you, and the way that the caution flew, it also helped you as well. Tell us what your plan is here for these last little bit. Are you guys coming to the green right now?
To the green.
Okay. Well, then never mind.
I don't have a plan. I'm just gonna go until, I run out of fuel. I guess I don't know.
How many laps
I don't
can you
even know.
guys run on fuel?
About 40.
40? Okay, so you can about split this last stage.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well,
I
Kyle?
think it's 4. I don't know. We had so many yellows, I lost count.
Yeah, there was a few there, and it kind of jumbled up the strategy. But you were on the bubble +4 with Randy having his problems, Matt not running the best, and Nathaniel obviously up in front of you now. But with that bad strategy on the start,
Nate's always cheating, so
he had a different driver in the car for qualifying. You know, that's we'll see how
yeah,
race control does.
that
Yeah,
caught him out.
yeah, he's different seat, different foam insert, so it could be a DQ on weight. But anyway, Kyle, good luck the rest of the night, and we'll
Hey,
be hopefully
Alex, I have something to tell you.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The Yankees suck.
Oh, all right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
Alex is gonna cry now. Kyle
Yep,
is
I'll be
hurting
back.
everybody's feelings. We're talking about baseball, which shouldn't be done here. We're doing some real sports, and isn't just
Oh, yep.
we're doing a sport that takes
He's right.
2 balls and not just
He's-
playing with 1. So we're gonna go back green here with 77 laps to go. Mazzella and Casey Brown, the front row, with Swartz, Landwehr, the Ritchie brothers, Peters, Ferguson, Sample, Sarton, the top 10. So we come back to the restart. Stage complete. We're ready for the second half of playoff race number 2 at Charlotte. We're back green. Mazzella and Casey fire. Mazzella fired way better than what Casey was able to. Nathaniel able to get clear as well. So 4 cars on the bottom lane going to try to go by Casey on that restart. Now able to fight it back, and we've seen the top side work better racing-wise, so Nathaniel being stuck on the bottom. We'll see if he's able to hold them all off or drive by them. Kyle's going to maybe give him a little push on the front straightaway here. A little bit closer than I think Nathaniel might like going through the tri-oval. See, Swartz is really going to try to ring that momentum around the outside line. Nathaniel's barely going to be clear. Swartz is going to have to push him there. Casey's going to go to the bottom with Kyle now. Ooh, big block there from Nathaniel. Going to give Kyle a lot of dirty air. So move Nathaniel into the second spot for the first time tonight. He's going to have an opportunity to go for the lead as they're getting crazy out back between a lot of your playoff drivers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw Nathaniel Landwehr obviously started towards the back of the field, slowly worked his way up into the top 10, and then the stage caution came out, and it benefited him greatly. He was able to pit and continue his hard charge to the field. We saw him mostly run the bottom towards the middle of the stage and towards the end of the stage before the caution came out. But like I mentioned, Cabe, top, a little bit better for racing-wise, and we'll see if he can use it to his advantage, as he's going to have to try to get past Kyle Ritchie, who takes second place again from him.
Yeah, Kyle moved up to the top side to kind of get a push there from Nathaniel, and Nathaniel's dropping back, actually running that preferred lane. He's going to go to the bottom underneath Casey. Looked off it for a second because the first car a lap down, bottom left of your leaderboard, is Glenn Murphy. So Murphy is going to have to fight for himself to get back on the lead lap, hope for a quick yellow here soon and get that lap back. But he's actually already drove up to position 8 on the racetrack, so he might just end up taking it by himself as quick as that car was earlier if he's able to get up there in time. But right now, still the leader, Jonathan Mazzella, Kyle Ritchie, Brown, Landwehr, Kevin Ritchie, Swartz, Peters, Sarton, Ferguson, Sample, the top 10 for now, as everybody started to settle in. Now Kevin looking to the inside of Nathaniel. We always see Nathaniel on a unique strategy. Isn't usually the one that just runs it till it's dry, pits, and then tries to do anything. He usually has a plan during all these races, and we saw how much the strategy ended up mattering with fuel in that first one. So could this be a strategy here from Nathaniel to back off and try to save as much as he is right now? Looks like he's not getting back on the gas quick, so I think it could. Really starting to drop back here. Everybody's starting to get spread out inside that top 5 spots, but then it's a mess for 6 on back. Two playoff drivers, Swartz and Peters, going at it. Quisenberry looking to get inside the top 10. Here's Randy Arms back out on the racetrack. Unfortunately, 21 laps down, but at this point, get back out there to log as many laps, because with him finishing 23rd, this would not be a good points day for, I believe, the regular season champion. So between him and Kyle, and actually I think Kyle got it.
No, it was actually.
Was it Randy?
I think it was Randy. Yeah, I remember he had the conversation with us that he actually lost it by a point, even though we thought
That's right.
Kyle got him.
Yes.
Got him at the line, but yeah, not going to be a great day for Randy Arms, unfortunately, for the points. But fret not, there is still one more race in this round before we move on to the last 3 races of the playoffs. So we'll see if he can have a bounce back day next week. Yeah.
He's having a lot of speed, so this could be a good momentum builder heading into next week, as we see everybody inside the top 10 right here. See the battle for the lead. That's Kyle kind of working the inside of Mazzella. Let's go back up to it. Battle for the lead on lap number 59 when we cross the start-finish line. 6-7 to go.
You know, I hate you for that. I just want to point that out. While we're here, I'm going to spread it out to everybody. I hate you for that, but that's okay. You're still my favorite. Anyways, Kyle Ritchie looking to make a move on the bottom of the 41 of Jonathan Mazzella. We heard him say in his interview after he won the stage that this thing is tight. So drivers are more than likely going to want to stay on the bottom for now if they're going to start racing, especially once the tires start wearing out. Top is not going to be the move if you want to conserve any sort of tire. We saw it earlier with Matt Frady. Not able to hold any tire on that car, but yeah, Kyle Ritchie move him to the lead with Casey Brown looking to make a bit of a charge and also try to pass Jonathan Mazzella, but Mazzella isn't going to give up that easy. Going to eye Kyle Ritchie going into 3 and 4. Will he force Kyle to the top? No, he's going to keep him on the bottom. Going to be the thing you want to do, though, is force the driver you're fighting to go to the top and lose that little bit of momentum while you take the bottom. So we'll see if he's able to set up a pass here.
Yeah, battle there for the lead. Then it's going to be a battle a little bit further back. Nathaniel not holding up Kevin, but it's kind of a single file train, about a few tenths back, half a second back. And Randy Arms is just bombing it in there. Doesn't care at this point. He's multiple laps down. Randy's just looking to see how that thing is running. It's fixed. That car is fixed. So he's or he's going to get behind Glenn and try to push him to lead at this point, because Randy's got either new tires or just sending it at this point because he knows he's not able to gain much. So he is really quick right now. Oh, I guess, well, Glenn is the first one a lap down. So Glenn is, I think, content right here running where he is because he is in the lucky dog spot. As I say that, he is going to try to take the lead. A little bit further back for 10th, Quisenberry gets around Matt. So Matt really struggling tonight, which is very uncharacteristic for him. Peters, who is now inside the top 5, kind of had an off few weeks these last few, just kind of coasting. We're starting to see her back inside the top 5. Had a great start to this season with 2 wins on it. First multi-time winner of the year. Not great qualifying the last few weeks has set her back, but right now looking to be on the pounce for it. Lilith has 7 top 10s out of the first 9 races, so she has a pretty good chance every time she gets in a race car to finish inside the top 10. 5 top 5s and 2 wins. So Lilith on the comeback maybe. As Kevin Ritchie right behind her. Riding on board here with Kevin. He's got one to his outside. That Swartz is going to drive right around it. One on the outside wall. Kevin through the grass. Able to get around her. So you see the different lanes. Kevin goes to the middle lane. He's just trying to keep air on the nose. Has to kind of split it. And we see that a lot of nowadays. And a lot of drivers talk about it as Casey Brown's going to get Glenn in the outside wall. I think that is. Yes, it is Glenn up there. So that could have been big for both of them. And nobody's really wanting to run that very outside line of the wall in 3 and 4 yet. A few drivers have started to go up to the top here in 1 and 2, like Randy Arms, who is slowly getting closer and closer to that Larson line up there. So we're just past halfway now. Lap 66 with 60 laps to go. It's a mess from 5th on back, but the top 4 here have really started to just kind of sit, or top 3 have just kind of sit in their spots. What do you think about that so far, Alex?
I mean, like I said earlier, it's not super surprising to see. We saw it towards the end of stage 1 that it was kind of those top 3 guys able to spread out and use the fact that they have a little bit more clean air than the rest of the field behind them to their advantage. Kyle mentioned it before in his interview that the car is tight, and you're gonna want as much clean air as possible. So those 3 guys in the top 3 being a little bit more spread out from the rest is going to be beneficial to them. But for the rest of the field behind them, all that battling and running the top here, we see it in 1 and 2 guys spreading out and going top, bottom, even sometimes the middle. It's going to burn their stuff up real quick. So a lot of these drivers are probably not going to be happy with their tires in the next, I'd say 10, 15 laps here as we wind down here with 57 to go as they cross the line.
Yeah, battle for position and on the bubble of the playoffs. These two were right inside of it. -8 and +2. Kevin Ritchie and Casey Brown were. Kevin able to hold off Casey for the moment. Casey's going to look to the outside line now, as there's a battle for second going on. I'm just going to keep the points up for a second so you guys can kind of get an idea how they're running. Remember how they finished in the stage and everything. So with all these drivers at the spots that they're in, a lot can happen. Contact into turn number 1 between Nathaniel and Jonathan Mazzella up on that top side. Kind of just met in the middle there, but Mazzella going to go to the outside and try to defend, and he does. So the top side for now still seems like the better line racing-wise, but pure speed seems to get to the bottom and try to save as long as you can here. Just behind with Casey Brown and Lilith Peters. So really nobody has pulled away a lot from this field, but I mean, the top 10's all within 2 seconds of each other, 3 seconds. But then there's a little bit of a gap, and it's gotten spread out, and I think we're just seeing everybody not pushing too hard while trying to save tire, and after the pit stop, whenever that may be, is when we'll see everybody start to get a little bit more aggressive, and as we get to the end of this deal, we'll start to see some people running different lanes, aero blocking, maybe using the bumper. Matt Frady also, Tiller struggling as well. So a few of these guys really just not showing a lot of speed. Brandon, playoff driver. Same thing with Sample. Sample, a higher I-rated driver, 3.7K. Just doesn't seem to have the speed. I don't know if he has damage or what, but just doesn't have it tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, funny enough, as I said it before, that these guys were a little spread out. The top 3 has regrouped, and so has Nathaniel Landwehr, who's decided to come and rejoin the party. Not super duper spread out right now, but these drivers able to battle it out a little bit as we see a little bit of a gap forming past 4th place. But yeah, as we're going to round closer to when these guys are probably make their pit stops again. We saw Kyle Ritchie mention it earlier that people may split the stage or split the rest of this race, and pit with around 40 to go. So we'll see probably within the next 10-15 laps these drivers pit, more than likely their last pit stop for fuel and tires. So yeah. Drivers are going to try to run as hard as they can to use up whatever they got left if they're going to come pit anyways, and we'll see if it works out for any of these drivers once we start taking down the laps just a little bit more.
Yeah, ooh, Landon got a little bit sideways there in the back, but Kyle Ritchie, Mazzella, Landwehr, Swartz, and Kevin Ritchie. But then you have a few cars in there that are lapped down. You see Murphy and Arms. So out of the top 6 cars on the racetrack, 2 of them are lapped down. So these drivers are going to have to kind of keep that in the back of their mind on where they're racing playoff-wise. I'm sure Randy wants to mix it up because he's in the playoff. So I guess he has that excuse. But there is a lot that could still happen here. Mazzella to the inside of Kyle now. Battle for the lead is on.
Ooh, as you see Kyle Ritchie, he's going to try to use the top. We've seen him at a lot of different racetracks. Loves that top line depending on where we're at. Going to use it to his advantage. And Jonathan Mazzella not getting the ideal run he wants. And he's going to get eaten up by Nathaniel Landwehr on the outside. Glenn Murphy looking to make the challenge as well. Not fighting for any positions at the moment because he is still a lap down. But, ooh, it's a little bit of contact off the wall there for the 41. Nathaniel Landwehr going to take advantage and take the second spot and try to charge down Kyle Ritchie before we get to some pit stops here. Glenn Murphy right behind him. Like I said before, a lap down. Going to want to try to keep his, either stay the first car lap down so that he can get his lap back in case a caution comes out, or just try to go past the leader. We've seen him slowly making his way up there, and if he passes Kyle Ritchie, he will be just on the lead lap, and if the caution comes out, no matter what, he will be caught up with the rest of the field. So can he make the charge to get his lap back, or will these two of Nathaniel Landwehr and Kyle Ritchie make it hard for him as these two battle it out for the lead?
Yeah, Nathaniel has pulled in to Kyle, was able to hold off Mazzella. Now he's going to get challenged by Landwehr. All over the back bumper of him now. We'll see how he sets up this pass. Riding on board with Nathaniel here. Looks to the inside. By one, might actually get there. Kind of fake to the top side. Let's see how he tries to set this up. We see Glenn actually going to the outside line. Big, ooh, that was a little bit closer than I think was anticipated. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a crank it up here as we're watching the battle for the lead. Back. They're still side by side here for the lead. My apologies for whatever that was that popped up. I don't know what it was, but Nathaniel to the inside. Kyle's gonna rip the fence, or as some of the youngins say, ripping the boards up there. Now big crossover from Kyle to the bottom of 3 and 4, which is the preferred lane. Speed wise, it seems like top 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4, with 40 laps to go. Next time by, we're inside the pit window here to make it to the end of the race. So we'll see who's the next cars to pit. It could be Kyle. Try to pit early as possible to make it and try to get the lead. And we are seeing actually a few on pit road, a lot more than I thought would come this early. Greg Elliott on pit road. Same thing with Ferguson. Tant. So a few drivers on pit road already. We'll see. I don't think we'll see any of the playoff drivers try to give up that much from it. Glenn Murphy almost in the outside wall. Well, not almost. It's a little bit closer than almost. So if you're in Kyle's situation here, Alex, what do you think? You just got passed. You know that that car has either burned off the tires a little bit or just doesn't have the speed of Nathaniel now. What is your strategy with 40 laps to go?
You know, I was kind of just thinking about it, especially for these top two guys who've just been battling for those last 5-10 laps or so. And I don't know, I'm a little torn. If I'm Kyle, I think I try to stay out as long as I can. That way, you'll have fresher tires, or compared to everybody else towards the end of the race. If you pit just a little bit later than Nathaniel Landwehr, you'll have better tires towards the end of the race. So, and we've going back to his comments again, he said the car was very tight. So, wanting those new tires are probably going to be very helpful for him once we get towards the latter ends of the state or latter ends of the race. And same for Nathaniel Landwehr. If I'm him as well, try to pit as late as you can. Use the fuel to your advantage and just extend the drive as much as you can, and just use whatever the tires can give you. Even if there's not a lot left, just use them up at this point because you know you're going to have to pit soon anyways. So if on these front two, stay out as long as you can to have the better tires towards the end of the race. You know you're fast. And as I say that, Nathaniel Landwehr going to be the first of those top three. Is a little bit of trouble behind them with Glenn Murphy and Jonathan Schwartz, all three able to make it onto pit road without a scratch. But will we see Kyle Ritchie respond as he comes around 1 and 2? Will he slow as he goes into 3 and 4 to take his pit stall and take 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles and fill it up with fuel?
Yeah, so
Kevin
only
Ritchie
5
going
cars.
down the backstretch.
Yeah, only 5 cars left out on the racetrack. Kyle lifts there to come to pit road. I'm expecting Kevin actually to stay out. Yes, he does, to try to lead a lap, which is good for him in the points. So he'll lead a lap, which is big for his point standing. But as a lot of these drivers come out of the pits, Kyle's coming in, and we're going to see how 1 lap fresher tires help them. Brandon is well in the pits. See when they drop the jack. Greg Elliott, Quisenberry just now leaving the pit. So a lot of change. Here comes Kevin down pit road.
Yeah, definitely a domino effect here. We saw a couple drivers come in, and then it's just been one driver after the other, after the other, after the other. Whether that's a fuel thing or everybody's just like, man, I might as well get the tires down while everybody's coming down pit road is up for debate. Who knows? It's more than likely just because everybody needed fuel. But we see here Nathaniel Landwehr able to get a huge gap from the 76 of Kyle Ritchie. Looks like he just had a better overall entry into the pits. And that's a pretty big gap there between the two as he has to fend off the one of Lilith Peters for that position. Jonathan Mazzella, I think that's Jonathan Mazzella down behind him.
This is the lead now. Yeah,
Yeah, so this is going to be battle for the lead.
Yeah, Mazzella's right behind him. Lilith Peters, though. Lap 91, 35 laps to go. We've seen her in the situation that Nathaniel is in, leading late in the race and has to defend a lot of the veterans in the series. Lilith has made a name for herself, has shown a lot of speed as she gets in the wall, but has never had to be on the attack in the last bit of the season, or in the last bit of the race all season long. She's been having to defend. We'll see how good she is at attacking as she got in the wall, lost a little bit of momentum. We're going to start seeing a lot of drivers start to reel in depending on where they pitted at. Just like Kevin Ritchie, who did not have a good stop or something, because he is struggling a lot here. 10th place, dropped off a lot of time just for pitting those 2 laps later. Same thing with Tiller. Frady not having a good night. Frady was fast early, but once that sun started to set, it's really gone downhill for Frady. So this could be a big point swing for him. But the top 5, well, top 4 with an addition of Glenn Murphy looking for that caution is involved. But we're going to see. Oh, is there smoke on pit road? And he's got a lot better tire, but he was a lot further back than what we're seeing, wasn't he? He's
he had quite
really
a bit of a
gained
gap, and he has decided
That's
to
kinda
use
shocking
those
me.
tires up, and he is able to close the gap heavily on these top 3 cars here. I'm like I said, I was just gonna mention it that he is absolutely moving, gonna make a move on the bottom of Jonathan Mazzella, carry the momentum, and try to take a P2 going into turn 1 here. Can he make a move on Lewis Peters? How good of a run will he get on the bottom here? Gonna stick that thing on the bottom. Get a good run, carry the momentum, and yeah, you can see here I shouldn't say easy work of Jonathan Mazzella, but that move did not look that difficult at all for the 76 Stitch and 98 Toyota Supra.
Yeah, Nathaniel, ooh, kind of got up the racetrack there. Had a lot of air packed on that left rear from Lilith Peters, but now it's going to be a battle for second. Riding on board with Nathaniel, looking back at it. The best thing that he can see in the mirror. Ooh, Lilith kind of drove her in a little bit shallow. I think if she would have ran a little bit wider and ran the top instead of just trying to defend the bottom, she may have gotten the right side of Nathaniel. We're going to see how well the top side works now on the tires that these drivers are on now. But Kyle's trying to take over the second spot to get back the lead from Nathaniel.
Yeah, Kyle Rich able to take the second position from Lilith Peters this lap. Gonna eye Nathaniel Lane, where we've seen these two battle it out the last ending stages of the race here, and still 29 to go, so a little surprised to see him be this aggressive. I don't know, it makes me think that maybe we could see another pit stop for tires if people are that desperate at the end here, but yeah, Kyle Ritchie using those tires to his advantage. Obviously only a lap fresher than Nathaniel Lane, so shouldn't make much of a difference, but using it up a lot. Could just be the cooler temps, although I don't know. Yeah, see the North Carolina sun there setting behind the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so track temp's gonna come down a little bit, so maybe it'll work to some of this, the advantage of some of these drivers, and yeah, seemingly working for Kyle Ritchie as he has pulled a gap off of Lilith Peters and Jonathan Mazzella, looking to make a move on Nathaniel Landwehr. We saw him start in a 23rd position after a interesting qualifying effort from not him, able to make his way to the lead, but can Kyle Ritchie manage the challenge and pass him and hold him off for another 27 laps?
Yeah, now Randy's going to drop back, kind of used as a pick. Peters is possibly used up her tires. That's a battle there. I mean, we've seen the speed out of Glenn. He had, well, the first half the race, first stage of the race, locked up until the pit stop, got trapped a lap down, and it's been green ever since. And he hasn't lost anything from the leaders other than probably being a little bit smart and not going to get in their battle as they're all in the playoffs and everything. But he's definitely showed all the speed that that he's had all night long, and just race it smart. But unfortunate where the caution flew to kind of force him that lap down. But still looking for that yellow, and it still could happen with 25 laps to go, as there's a battle here between Swartz and Peters. See where Lilith goes. To the top. Swartz is going to get to her right rear and should be able to clear here in the threes. We got a battle for the lead brewing once again. The two heavy hitters in the league, Nathaniel and Kyle, really going at it here with 25 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Yeah, going to be very interesting to see how both of these drivers' tires react, because these guys have been going at it for laps and laps now. So if I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm Jonathan Mazzella back there, I would try to start saving just a little bit, not too much to where it costs you a lot of time, but save just a little bit of tire, and it might work to his advantage if these guys start to heavily drop back. from all the tire wear we see here. Kyle Ritchie able to edge. Oh, that sounds wrong. Get in front of Nathaniel Landwehr. He's able to use the momentum, but Nathaniel Landwehr's not going to give up. Goes to the grass a little bit to try to stay on his inside. Gonna hug the bottom to carry the momentum, but Kyle Ritchie will also have good momentum because he's gonna ride the top. He'll use it to his advantage and pull out just a little bit more over Nathaniel Landwehr. Landwehr's just gonna have to tuck in behind Kyle Ritchie and accept his fate. We'll see if he's got any more of a challenge or if those tires are burned off of that 66 car. Right now, Kyle Ritchie able to keep the lead. Laps starting to tick down, only 22 to go. Huge gap between the first and second place runners, and then everybody else behind them down in third on back. Huge points implications for tonight's race. Many troubles for a multitude of playoff drivers tonight, but not for Kyle Ritchie and Nathaniel Landwehr. These guys are making the most out of their cars tonight to gain the points.
Yeah, and that battle for the lead is still not over. I think Nathaniel has a little bit of something, and I think we've seen it with these Xfinity cars in a few different races this season. It seems like it's weird, and I don't know how to describe it or how it makes sense, but as long as you're not within like half a tenth of the rear bumper of the car, if you're behind somebody, you're a little bit quicker than them. And it's really kept this racing close, especially with these Xfinity cars, and the sun's going to go down. There's no more sunset. The lights are going to come on, and we're going to have a nighttime finish here at Charlotte. But that battle is still on. We'll see if Kyle has enough tire these last 20 to hold it, or did Nathaniel say, hey, I'm going to let him go for a minute, keep the pressure on so he burns up the tires a little bit, but I'm going to save my stuff for the next 20 and go after it in the last 5 laps. Really not doing much different. Kind of drives to the bottom a little bit earlier. Kyle arcs it. And once he's able to get the nose across Nathaniel, he gets a little tight on the corner exit. A little bit further back, though. Quisenberry in 8. Ferguson, Tiller. So a few drivers have actually made up a good amount of time, especially playoffs. But one guy I do want to talk to, because he's learned a little bit, has showed big improvements throughout this season. Would you rather talk to Casey or Kevin? Or Quisenberry? What if you had to pick what 3 to take us around for a lap? What do you think?
Let's bring Quisenberry in here. He obviously, we saw him had a little bit of early struggles being involved in some incidents, but able to claw his way back up into 8th place. Although I'm not sure if you want to do it now, as we got another intense battle between the leaders going on right now. Nathaniel Landwehr on the inside, and Kyle Ritchie. Can he keep the momentum once again? We see the sun fully set pretty much behind this racetrack, but these two are going to be side by side going to 3 and 4. At this point, it's just who's willing to push just that little bit more between these two drivers.
Yeah, we saw Kyle able to fight back around the outside line, but look who's catching him a lap down, but still could be a factor in this one. Who does he help? His teammate on the bottom or Kyle Ritchie on that outside line, who has the preferred lane? Well, if he's able to get there, does he help either one, or does he try to stay out of it? But they're still side by side for the lead. Bottom in 3 and 4, top 1 and 2 seems to be better. Nathaniel throws it in, gets a little tight, had to check up, and that allowed Kyle to roll back around the outside. Of course, there's no good camera for this at the moment. On board, at least. There you go. You see Kyle gonna get up the racetrack almost in the outside wall. I don't think Nathaniel put him in it, but he definitely made it close. We see Kyle gonna get to the back bumper. He's gonna loosen up Nathaniel now, or make him tight. With these cars, it seems, with the amount of fuel load and the way that these cars have been driving all night long, it could be just these cars getting tight, which is making them go up the racetrack.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can hear both of these drivers. I can hear them struggling. I can hear the lifts in the middle of the corner just to try to keep the car on the bottom and at least stable enough to run up the track. I can hear it every lap, every single lap. It's just a little bit more of these guys lifting. So they are absolutely struggling trying to hold these race cars in a straight line. But yeah, these guys barely giving each other an inch.
Yeah, and
They know every point matters. Kyle Ritchie, especially closer to the bubble, but Nathaniel Landwehr also needs every point he can get. Who's willing to make the more risky move here? We only got 14 laps to go. Nobody else for the challenge. You see Glenn Murphy right behind him, still a lap down, like Cabe mentioned, but I do not think he will interfere at all. He's been really good with just hanging on back and waiting, but who knows? Maybe he'll decide to make a late race change to try to help his teammate out. But yeah, right there, almost right on the bumper of Kyle Ritchie there is Nathaniel Landwehr able to retake the lead. Gonna try to hold off the 76 for as long as he can.
yeah, we saw Kyle. Ooh, Nathaniel got in the wall there. It seems Kyle has the speed still in it, just isn't able to get there. A little bit of dirty air, especially if Kyle has a little bit of a bad corner. But Nathaniel up the racetrack half a lane, and it allowed the left front of Kyle to get some air on it. You see, when Kyle's left front, that left front headlight, where that dip is in the nose of that Toyota, when he goes and is able to get underneath him, now Kyle goes to the outside line. But if you're able to kind of stagger it, he's going to get a good run here. Great move from Kyle. Didn't go to the outside. Tried to drive down the hill and do a mini crossover. Nathaniel blocks the inside. I'm kind of shocked he did that and gave Kyle the outside. That made Nathaniel tight. And we're side by side once again for the lead.
Yeah, once again, going at it. We see these drivers do it for most of this race. Once Nathaniel got there, it was kind of hard to say goodbye to him. Kyle Ritchie, we saw him take the lead towards the middle of the race right after the stage with the greatly timed caution for him.
Big run. Big run.
But it's been a battle of these two. Kyle Ritchie's going to get a massive run in the outside. Wants to take the lead to get as many points as he can, take as many as he can away from the current playoff standings leader of Nathaniel Landwehr. These two are not giving each other an inch.
Nathaniel, the leader with 20 to go. Or Kyle, the leader with 20 to go. Nathaniel took it with 15 to go, and Kyle took it back with 10 to go. What a race we're seeing. But Kyle opened up the bottom lane. That allowed Nathaniel to drive to his inside. Got a little tight on exit. And as I was trying to mention before, if Nathaniel can get that left front headlight out underneath Kyle and give clean air like he is now, he's able to rotate. With whoever's leading, they're up half a lane, which allows the car behind them to really mess them up. And we're seeing Glenn, I think, is actually running a little bit lower than both of them and just staying right there. So I don't know if they're just both so tight they can't do anything about it. But if I was the leader, I'd be in the left side like what Kyle did there. But Nathaniel got a good run no matter what. Here comes Nathaniel back trying to fight it. To the inside. Fakes low. He faked it a little bit. I think we're trying to see Nathaniel fake Kyle out and try to get back to the outside line. He knows his car isn't going to be able to turn on the bottom. So he's trying to fake Kyle to block the bottom and then go to the outside and get to Kyle's right rear the same way that Kyle was able to pass him a few laps ago.
Yeah, we're turning to mind games now between these two drivers. It's going to be who's going to have more strength to keep the lead, and can they use whatever their tires can give them at this point. It's go or no go. You don't care about how these tires feel. You're just going to throw this thing into the corner and hope it sticks. Nathaniel Landwehr just constantly trying to find a way on the bottom, but Kyle Ritchie able to keep the momentum on the top, but he's not going to give Nathaniel Landwehr a chance.
Yeah, he's still on the top side. Kyle and Nathaniel back side by side. Able to throw a slide job if he can have a nose on corner entry. I am actively standing up because this race is so good, and it's actually gotten down to the wire. From lap 25 to go, these two have been racing for the lead. And, yeah, it is, I'm really getting into this race because it is a really good battle as Nathaniel drops back a little bit more. I do think Glenn has played a factor into this, keeping whoever is in second there with just a little arrow push. Because these cars depend a little bit with a bubble on super speedways, they're not able to drive to the back bumper of the car. So just a car within a car length behind you, it affects you being in front. So I think that's what we're seeing a lot. As Nathaniel goes to the bottom, he puts it the left side on the paint to try to help that car rotate. But as tight as it is, it's just not able to. He's going to try to stay the left side and pull Kyle back with side draft, but not able to do it. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, these two putting on a show right now. 5 to go in the Apex Sim Racing 125. These two been at it for the last 20-ish or so laps. No other challenge from any other drivers. The next closest driver, Jonathan Schwartz in the 58, a second and a half back from these two. More than likely will not see him bar any contact between these two. But Nathaniel Lane, we're just going to throw it in there at 3 and 4. Take the bottom, hope it sticks, ride the paint. But Kyle Ritchie once again going to use the momentum on the outside to keep the lead. These two are going to be photo finish style going into...
Don't jinx it yet.
Oh, not just yet,
Nathaniel
but...
drives her in. There's possible slide job. Can he get clear on the corner exit? Kyle back to his outside. Big run for Kyle. 4 laps to go. We have never seen anything like this all season long. These two are going at it at Kyle's hometown track. Lives just a few miles away. Is your, well, roommate too. So I guess you two, you know the distance from Charlotte Motor Speedway, but this would mean a ton for Kyle. Went there this weekend to watch the real race at the Roval, but Nathaniel trying to assert his dominance all season long. Had some unfortunate breaks, but is trying to get it back and start the momentum building into the final round of the playoffs. Coming to 2 laps to go here. Riding on board with Kyle.
These two have both just settled what lines they want. Kyle Ritchie taking the top no matter what. Nathaniel Lane, we're just trying to get as much of a run as he can. Will Glenn Murphy, we've seen him on the back bumper of both of these two. Will he give his teammate a push or will he stay out of it? But once again, these two, Kyle Ritchie on the top, Nathaniel Lane, we're on the bottom. They're going to get, they're close to making contact on the back stretch. We're going to come to the white flag after 3 and 4. Who's going to come out in the lead?
Kyle is doing everything he can on the top side, but Nathaniel is itching to throw that slide job. We saw it in 1. He wants to go up the racetrack. White flag at the line. The best opportunity Nathaniel's had all race long to throw the slide job. Does he do it? Kyle puts it on his door. Isn't able to hold it around the outside. Nathaniel's going to be clear on corner exit. Where does Kyle go? Down the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4. Kyle on the bottom. Nathaniel on the outside. He's going to get up the racetrack, almost into him. Drag race to the line. Glenn's going to push Kyle. But it's not going to be enough. Nathaniel gets the win at Charlotte. What a race. Holy crap. Me and Alex were talking about it. During the crank it up section. The race hasn't been great. We really didn't have much to talk about. And then at the end, these two put on a show for the last 20 laps. I apologize we didn't talk about anybody else there in the last 20 laps. But here's the rundown of the field. Nathaniel gets it done on the white flag. Heartbreaker for Kyle Ritchie. Jonathan Schwartz comes home 3rd. Mazzella, Peters, as the thing goes away. But then Frady, Sample, Ferguson, Murphy, Brandon, Shimmershin. I screw it up every damn time. I'm so sorry, Brandon. But we'll do it because this thing's too damn fast. But Nathaniel gets it done, Alex.
Yeah, what an absolutely gorgeous finish between these two. Yeah, I was gonna say I was if I didn't have an interesting seat setup right now, I also would have been standing up. But man, what an absolutely gorgeous battle between these two for border. I think it was almost like 30 laps of battling, or 35 laps even between these two drivers, and nobody gave anybody an inch, but they were respectful and clean the whole way through. But like you mentioned, Cam, Nathaniel Lane were able to make the last lap pass and hold the lead from Kyle Ritchie. What an absolutely fantastic battle between these two drivers.
Yeah, the battle that we have maybe not been waiting for all season long, but we haven't seen it like that close. We've seen good finishes, and we've seen, them battle it out in a few white flag laps and photo finishes, but we haven't seen from 25 to go to the end, side by side and racing that close all season long. Let's get a word in here with your winner, Nathaniel Landwehr.
Nathaniel Landwehr, you got a copy, my man?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, welcome to the booth. An absolutely amazing battle between you and the 76 of Kyle Ritchie there for, I believe, 30 to 35 laps there. How did you pull it off? We saw you qualify towards the back of the field. Unfortunate qualifying situation for you, but you're able to take the win here. How'd you do it?
Oh man, just had to be smart on the tires. There's a lot of fall off here, so just making smart decisions, getting the right pit strategy when the stage brake came out, and so we could be up there towards the front, and just being able to hold off Kyle. He's super quick, and honestly, that was some of the best racing I've had in a while. And just kudos to Kyle because he raced me clean even when I probably didn't deserve it, and just got it done.
Yeah, we saw you two. I mean, barely gave each other an inch, but some of the most respectful and clean racing that we've seen throughout the entire season. Did you at any point think that it was going to be like down to the wire, or were you just kind of thinking that once you got there, that was kind of it, or did you think it was going to be such an intense battle between you two for those last 30 laps?
Well, I thought when I realized that I didn't have another lap of fuel in the car, and Kyle had that extra lap to get that one lap fresher tire, I thought it was over, and he was gonna blow by me and blow my doors off. But I think he kind of spent the tires a little bit trying to get up to me, and by that point we'd evened out a little bit, and it was all just kind of a race of who can block the top the best, and eventually I think I just kind of saved enough tire down there on the bottom to just barely pull it off there at the end and kind of got lucky. So, yep.
Well, we saw you didn't have a good start of the race. You had a sub in for qualifying. Go ahead and talk about that, and then add in with the point situation. You're pretty okay points wise, but with it being the playoffs, you're 22 up. You win this race, you're probably pretty safe heading into next week. But with the stage points and everything like that, not getting any stage points, or you finished 10th, I think, in it. Talk to us a little bit about that, and was that a worry at any point, or do you feel pretty safe in this round getting through?
No, man. I think with the win tonight and finishing up towards the top or on the top of the board, obviously not getting any stage points is a little suboptimal, but um, I did what I needed to do to make up for it there. I don't think I'm in any real danger. I guess we'll wait till the points come out, but I think we should be plenty to the good here for the next couple races.
Yeah. Well, you definitely have had some bad luck this year, and finally have been able to get back to victory lane after some few mechanical problems and everything like that. But you in an eventful one here at Charlotte. Go ahead and give your shout outs and who you like to thank.
Yeah, shout out to the substitute driver, Audrey the wife, for putting down a 35-second time in qualifying. Um, it didn't change the starting position.
Either.
I was going to start there regardless, tail end of the field. But shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast and giving us something entertaining to watch. The admin team for putting all this stuff together, and just the drivers, like especially Kyle. That right there is kind of the showcase of what I think this league is about. All the clean driving, but we're a fast group of people that can just rip it around the track. So I just want to shout out, the racing and all the people here.
Yeah, a few cautions early, but after the stage, it went green, and it still came down to within a few tenths of a second at the end. So, Nathaniel, you get her done here at Charlotte. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
Nate there, got a word in with him, but the heartbreaker of the night, Kyle Ritchie. Go ahead and take her away here, Alex.
Kyle Ritchie, you get a copy?
I do.
Oh, well, unfortunate heartbreak there at the end, and an absolutely intense battle between you and the 66 there. Unfortunately, coming up just a little bit short in second place there, but yeah, very close battle at the end there. How'd you guys manage to keep it clean for 30 laps?
It helps when the other person you're racing also knows how to race and has some racecraft. That's about it. Other than that, I mean, we both knew how to run each lane without hitting each other for 30 laps. I don't think many other people can say they did that all race.
Yeah, as I say, we saw tires are very interesting, and we knew that lines are going to be kind of all over the place. Charlotte usually being one of the tracks you can kind of go up, bottom, middle. It doesn't matter where you go, but usually able to put on a pretty decent show. So we saw it work out pretty well for you. Good points at the end of the day. I mean, P2 is still a P2. Gives you a bit of advantage over the cutoff line. You and Kevin are both pretty close there. So you will have a little bit more of a points advantage over him going into next week at Vegas. So, yeah, Gabe.
Yeah, you have you're on the bubble, only +4 heading into tonight. But next week we're going to Kansas or going to Las Vegas. But in this round,
Kansas.
Vegas, I adjusted. But after this round has been 3 tracks this season that has got rescanned in iRacing. What have you seen that's changed from last week and the way that Charlotte raced tonight? And what are you expecting heading into Vegas with the new scan and the updates and everything like that?
What am I expecting? I don't expect much from iRacing because they managed to screw everything up. So not a lot, to be honest
Preach.
with you. Last time we ran there, it was absolutely terrible, and I'm expecting the same next week.
Well, we know Vegas is one that you can gamble on a lot, and we saw a lot of gambling with tire strategy and things like that. You put in a lap after. What's kind of the plan there with a pretty decent long run there, 40 laps? What was going through your mind pitting a few laps later than the Nathaniel? And when you blew by everybody and got the lead initially, what do you think at that point?
Well, last week I pit the lap too early, and I was like half a lap short, so I had to save. And I thought this week was going to be the same, so I just ran dry. But I also knew that like a lap difference helped long run wise on fresh tires until it got dark out, and then it didn't seem to make a difference at all. So I thought like I needed some advantage to get around, have some speed towards Nate because at the end of the run he was gone. So I figured I'd pit a lap later, and I actually only came out like a second behind him. And Mazzella and I don't know who else was up there had pit a few laps early, and they didn't get away. So I kind of knew I'd pass them back, but I just had to race hard against Nate.
Well, you definitely did that and put on one heck of a show. Heartbreaker for you, but still a good day for you. Coming home P2. Kyle Ritchie, go ahead and give your shout outs, and who do you like to thank?
Yeah, just thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, Randy, for putting on a league that's not absolutely miserable to run like another league we used to run. That's about it.
Well, congratulations. And yeah, speaking of that, we got some news hopefully coming out later this week on something else. But yeah, Kyle, congratulations coming on P2.
Thank you, guys.
Kyle Ritchie there, P2. And coming on P3, we really didn't talk about anybody else in the last 20 laps, which I do feel bad about, but the battle for the lead was so good. Jonathan Swartz, kind of a undershadowed by Nathaniel coming from the back, but Swartz did it as well and was able to come home third. Let's get a word in with him now.
Jonathan Schwartz, you got a copy, my man?
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, welcome to the booth. A nice little quiet and methodical night for you to come home and finish P3. Unfortunately, not able to make a challenge for the front two there, who we saw were going at it for the last 25, 30 laps there. But yeah, still a solid P3 finish for you. Good for points, and tell us about your race.
Yeah, I had a solid long run car tonight. I know coming into the race I was below the cut, so I needed to get those stage points and come out with a good finish. And I think I did a solid job at that. So hopefully, when the points load, we'll be above that line and we can go after Vegas.
Well, yeah, like I said, unfortunately below the points coming into this race, but with that finish, you may be pretty close to, or if not right above the cut line. We'll see once points comes out. But yeah, like I said, solid P3 finish. Thoughts on? I mean, obviously we saw the front two kind of just pull away there at the end. Were you kind of content with a third at that point, or were you hoping to maybe try to make possibly make a late charge there with seeing how much those two drivers are racing at the end?
Yeah, I kind of got caught up behind Glenn there on coming off pit road. He was a little slower than I expected, but had he not been there, I probably could have made a little bit better charge. But I'm happy with third for sure. So you kind of just got to point him to death to make it through these rounds.
Well, playoff wise, you look pretty good, I think, after tonight. You got a few playoff points. Coming home third, you were -4 heading into it. We'll see where you're at, obviously. Randy had a bad day. You beat Mazzella, Kevin as well. So this could be really close on the bubble. what is your confidence level heading into the new Las Vegas?
It's always been a good track for me, so good solid another top 5 run should do the job. So we'll see.
Well, we are looking forward to it and see who rolls the dice at Vegas. And will we go ahead and give your shout outs and who you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting every week for us. You guys do a great job. And my longtime partner, the Bidding Authority, being on board once again. So yeah, it's been a great season. I look forward to next week.
Yes, sir. Well, we will be seeing you there at Las Vegas.
Thanks, guys.
Jonathan Swartz there. Alex, what a race.
Yeah, man. I mean,
we did not expect that.
No, I absolutely was not. I mean, I was expecting it to be pretty decent. Charlotte usually could put up a good race sometimes. Unfortunately, first half, maybe two-thirds, three-quarters even, it was kind of a bit of slow. It was a little bit just drivers trying to make their way through the field and some good battles going on throughout. But man, the finish, arguably one of the best we've had all season, arguably in
best,
league,
yeah,
in
definitely
league
the best
history
finish
for
in
sure.
league
We've had some
history.
pretty good finishes, but what a battle for that amount of time between two of some of the best talents we have in the league. So yeah, great respect shown by both these drivers, and obviously somebody was gonna have to go home in second place and take the drive home with the second place points and whatnot. But at the end of the day, still a fantastic battle between these two. I mean, you were literally out of your out of your seat calling the last part of this race here. So yeah, I mean, great finish here at Charlotte. Absolutely looking forward to next week at Vegas for sure.
Yeah, we're heading to Vegas, so that is one. Obviously, I've been showing it a lot, but the playoff format. So next week, elimination race. We saw the finishing order tonight. This was after last week at Kansas. So heading to Vegas, there's going to be a lot of gambling. I'm expecting a few changes in the points, and we'll see how it lines up. We'll talk about it. Maybe start to stream a little bit earlier next week because the points and everything going on. But what a race, headed to Vegas for the elimination race. It can't get much better than that, going gambling in Vegas and having a elimination race at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and shout out tonight's sponsor of the race, Apex Sim Racing. Alex?
Yeah, I was gonna say big shout out to Brandon Silversheen. Unfortunately, didn't get to have a chat with him. I do not believe he. Oh, let's see if I can find where he finished tonight. Made a decent recovery up to 15th. So yeah, shout out to him tonight. Tonight's race sponsor for the Apex Sim Racing 125. So yeah, a big shout out to him. And actually, before you sign us off here, Cabe, I do actually have updated points here.
I just put him on the
before
screen.
you go.
Yep.
So. Yeah, perfect. So Nathaniel Landwehr extending his
34.
points lead to 34. So that's going to be huge going into next week at Vegas. Kyle Ritchie with the second place finish well above the cut line, 16 up. Going to be a huge advantage for him. Might not have to be as risky and roll some interesting dice next week. Jonathan Mazzella dropped back to third, 10 above the cut line. Kevin Ritchie able to actually move up a couple spots with his P5 finish tonight. Only 7 above the cut line, though, so a little bit more risky for him. Jonathan Schwartz with his P3, just like we talked to him not too long ago, up above the cut line. Only 6 up, though, so he is going to have a little bit of a challenge ahead of him to try to finish in front of a lot of these other playoff guys to solidify his place above the cutoff line. And Lilith Peters right on the bubble, only +2. Matt Frady with his, shockers. Matt Frady down 2 points below the bubble, finishing 11th tonight. So not the finish he wanted, and it's going to hurt him next week. Unfortunately, Randy Arms, obviously, we saw what happened to him in the beginning of the race, down 7 below the cut line. We'll see if he has a little bit more luck next week going into Vegas, but it is Vegas, so obviously, it's the home of gambling. So let's see if he tries to make some interesting calls next week. Casey Brown had himself a solid night, unfortunately. Only finishing P9, will be 15 below the cut line, and Landon Quisenberry also 15 below the cut line. We saw him involved in an early incident in the beginning of the race. And once again, shout out to Brandon Shemersheen, tonight's race sponsor. Unfortunately, not a great finish, however, will be 26 below the cutoff line down here in 11th. And Michael Cochran, unfortunately, involved in some really heavy damage earlier. I believe actually DNF this race with I think it was actually a blown motor. So we'll be 28 below the cut line. A lot of work for him to do to even have a remote shot at making it in to the next round. But yeah, Vegas going to be a very interesting one for a lot of these playoff drivers.
Yeah, on the bubble, Swartz, Peters, Frady, Arms are the few that are within single-digit points, which Randy didn't have the best day, and hometown fan favorite Matt Frady going to his home track in Vegas. We'll see if he's able to do it, but 4 people that I thought were pretty much locked in the last round. You know, I figured Nathaniel and Kyle would be in it, and I thought Randy, Frady, Peters, and Swartz would pretty much be in it, but Mazzella and Kevin Ritchie are really upsetting a lot of drivers here, and it's going to be more than likely coming down to Kevin Ritchie, Swartz, Peters, Frady, Arms. Brown and Quisenberry could even sneak in if a lot of drivers have a chaotic start to the race or aren't able to finish well. So next week is going to be one to watch. It's going to set the final round of the playoffs, and the final 3 races I do want to mention are Phoenix, Homestead, and hold on, let me pull that up real quick. It is Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix. So Talladega, the wild card of it, Martinsville, the crazy short track, and Phoenix, to see who can catch whoever, is going to be a fun one to watch. So we will be seeing you guys next week, next Tuesday night, for some Speedzone Esports and elimination race of the playoffs. We will see you guys then. Have a good one.